Disc brakes.
Yeah. The many sounds of cycling. Welcome to a new season of in real life riding here in Juneau, Alaska with the Juneau Freewheelers. This is the first road race of the season, the T Harbor Road Race, a 20-mile out and back, starting in T Harbor at the fire station and heading out to Eagle Beach and back. Super fun group, some brand new faces and some very familiar faces. So awesome to have the 11-12 riders here today. Nice rolling start here. I had no plan going into this other than try to stick with the lead pack as much as possible. Have some confidence in my sprint, so I felt like if I can do that, then I have a shot. And try not to waste as many matches, burn as many matches as I have in the past on unnecessary efforts. That was my only plan here. Basically survive. So that's that. This course starts with a pretty decent climb that Rob heads to the front of the pack. You can see him up there and takes us much of the way up, keeps us at an honest pace. It's a nice solid effort by Rob. He peels off, Summers takes over. And I know Summers is a triathlete, an Ironman, and a deer spotter. But I don't know much. I've never ridden with him. He's one of the newer riders that I've encountered on a Juneau Freewheelers event. And so as I get up to the front and take my first pull of the race, I thought maybe we'll see if I can put in a higher end effort for myself, short of burning a full match, maybe 3/4 of a match, but give it a nice solid 2 to 3 minutes on the front, pulling at an acceptable pace for me, and then see what happens. So that's what I did. And when I'm done with my poll, we have Andrew, who I know, Dan, who I don't know, and actually confused with somebody else for a bit, and Summers. So we did make a selection. I thought Dan was John, who is a very threatening rider I know very well. I don't know Dan very well. So it was interesting that John wasn't here. And I had this feeling, but we maintained a decent clip. We got to the halfway point, the turnaround of the out and back, and I felt all right. We made a pretty decent gap on the rest of the pack. John must be back there somewhere, and just as I was thinking that, yep, yikes, that's John. He's maybe 15, 20 seconds behind us, but he's a monster, and just knowing he's back there that close, solo, and he caught sight of us, now just lit a match under the 4 of us in this pack here to keep it going. And so for me, knowing John's back there, not knowing Summers or Dan as well, I knew Andrew would stay on. But I decided here on this little rise, one, I wanted to do my part here to make sure that we could keep the gap on John as much as possible. And two, test out Summers and Dan a bit just by, again, holding a solid effort up this incline and see what happens. I need to get better at looking behind me more frequently just to see what's going on as I'm doing these harder efforts. But I didn't, and I was surprised that Summers wasn't with us when I peeled off and Andrew and Dan took over here. So Dan then on this climb, as he should, it's smart move. He puts in a decent dig and it forces us to, Andrew and I, to burn decent amount of energy staying on his wheel. See, pushing 600 watts to hang on and stay on. More wildlife ahead. Oh dear. See him? See him? So cool, riding in Juneau, Alaska. Let's go back. Let's watch that again. Yep. Those were our spectators, big fans. Me, unlike Dan making the smart move to attack uphill, I make a not so smart move to put in a good effort to attack downhill, which just gave Andrew and Dan both a draft and allowed Andrew here then to put in a attack off the front, forcing Dan and I to burn some matches to stay on his wheel as we head into the final mile. The game of sprint chicken begins. Who's going to go first? Is John going to appear as if from nowhere? Is Summers going to appear as if from nowhere and take us all out? Those were very big concerns in my brain. I knew Dan was behind me. I didn't know what he was going to do. I was expecting Andrew to just launch, but I heard Dan wind up. We're about, you can see we're half mile, 4/10 of a mile out, and that's pretty long ways out to maintain a high sprint effort. But this is if I'm a one-trick pony, this is the one trick. I'm pretty confident in my longer sprint effort, the 30-second to 1 minute. So went in and put in a gap on Dan and rolled over for my first road race victory ever in real life. So that was incredible. It was fun. Awesome race by all. Awesome ride with the crew. Looking forward to the next one. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.